Hello, my intuitives. We're live on YouTube and on Instagram. Robert J. Conley here. Hey, please hit like, please hit subscribe, and I appreciate it if you do. Today is intuitive income growth. So remember how we talked about intuition is intuitives naturally have intuition arrive if we follow the process of thinking deeply, observing intensely, applying ourselves to the observation of the thing, observation of whatever, and to then let go, forget, engage other activities. I've told you my favorite one is gardening, and then all of a sudden the intuitive insight leaps into your face. Now, if you're being paid by the hour and you're an intuitive and you're interested in using your intuitive gifts, you will never be adequately compensated for what you bring to the table. So, and it's even worse than that. So not only will you not get paid for the value of your intuitive insights, you are also probably pretty bad at process and at paperwork and at certain fundamental things that inherently lend themselves to be paying on an hourly basis because they're measurable, they're observable. And so if you're an intuitive and you're frustrated with your income level, you need to improve your capacity for if then conversations. And it goes like this: if I produce X, you will then pay me Y. So if I produce new clients, I will get X percentage. If I produce a work of art, I will get paid this, not based on time, based on the intuitive insight that then generates the income. And so where you have, excuse me, where you have challenges with this conversation is when you're engaged with people who are still trying to quantify things by hourly observable work. And you need to, the discipline for you is to not participate in that frame of reference. It is to stay on track with, if I produce this, you will pay me this. And so the temptation is to, again, and some intuitives are more prone to succumbing to this than others. But if you are a person, if you are an intuitive who will, give credence to that frame of reference, then the first step is to train yourself to catch yourself and say, oh, wow, okay, this is about hourly performance. This is about stamping out a piece of metal every, 3.5 seconds. This is about, something that is just a methodical process. And to then work in terms of, again, I'm going to say just over and over again, if I generate this, I get paid this. And where the hazard lies is again in those folks who can only think in those terms, and where you need to start to alleviate anxiety, especially if you remember I talked about the gatekeeper personality types, administrators who are very locked into tangible results. And here's the key, because the prototypical administrator, gatekeeper, guardian, authority, those are all same words for the same kind of personality type, are guided by the rear view mirror, by being able to look back and see what it is that took place, and to then apply numbers and check boxes and say, yes, this was accomplished. So when you are engaged in a conversation with this type of person and you are seeking to be fairly compensated, you need to say, Fred, Sheila, Jim, whatever their name is, a year from now, what do you want to look back and see? It's important to take it to a time forward from which they can look back and now have the capacity to say, oh, well, as I look back at that, I expect to have 5 new clients. I expect to have 5 new designs. Whatever it is. I will be happy to have had. And it is from that point that you can now say, well, then, if that is the case, at that point in time, are you willing to pay me 20% of the revenue that generated? Are you willing to pay me whatever it is? All of that's negotiable. But the trick is when you're not, technique, the way to keep moving forward and the way to get paid for the most value that you bring to the table is step one. Don't engage in the hourly attendance based, I'm going to put 60 hours. I'm going to be here at 7 a.m. every morning and work until 7 p.m. None of that stuff will ever fully compensate an intuitive contribution. An intuitive contribution has to be measured in those net results that happen at a point in the future. So take that gatekeeper out to the future and say, okay, now look back and what is it that you expect or would like to see at this point? And if that happens, are you willing to pay me this? So that's a simplified outline. And I want you to take that and make it your own and craft it into more productive conversations that lead to you growing your income. That's what I got for today. I'm Robert J. Conley, and I will see you next time.